Okay, the next set of ratios we're going to look at are the ratios that help us to evaluate financial risk of a company. And we're going to start out with problem SE10 on page 619 in our textbook. And our first up is debt to equity ratio. And in putting in our formula for this, we're going to do our total liabilities divided by our total stockholders' equity. Okay, so our total liabilities were $36,000 and $180,000 per the information in the textbook on page 619. And then we have total stockholders' equity of $92,000. So going right through this, we have $216,000 and $92,000 as our denominator. And this presents a ratio of 2.3 times. So our debt is 2.3 times our equity. So that means that the majority of our assets are being financed by debt rather than by equity. And again, for 2011, we have our total liabilities, total current liabilities of $44,000 and long-term liabilities of $120,000, and our average total stockholders' equity is $76,000, which gives us $164,000 on top and $76,000 on bottom, for a ratio of 2.2 times. So clearly our debt to equity measure did not change significantly or dramatically, just moderately. Next calculation is our return on equity, and in putting in our formula, we're going to put in our net income divided by our average stockholders' equity. Okay, and per the information in this problem, we have a net income of $28,000, and then we have average stockholders' equity, beginning and ending plus beginning and ending divided by 2. So actually, I think I just put this number in. I should have put the beginning number in here. That's the ending number, so sorry. And 76,000 is the beginning number. So that makes 28,000 over 84,000, and that would be 33.3%. And then our numerator here again in 2011 was 28,000. We had average stockholders' equity of 76,000 plus 60,000 divided by 2. And so therefore, oh, my bad, we've got one more step. 28,000 is the numerator, and the average total stockholders' equity is 68,000, and divide that out, and we have 41.2%. So we see that our return on equity got a little bit weaker from 2011 to 2012. And then lastly, our interest coverage ratio, which we're going to start with our interest before income taxes plus interest expense. So just the expense that you take, the expense that you pay on your debts that you have outstanding. And we're going to take that and also put this on the denominator. And then we see our numbers which are being supplied again. We would see the interest before income taxes and our income statement as well as the interest expense. And divide that all by 14,000, and we would get 56,000 over 14,000, and this would give us 4.0 times. And looking at 2011, we have 44,000 plus 10,000 of interest expense over 10,000 of interest expense was actually paid. And then we have the numerator at 54,000 and the denominator again at 10,000. So we can see that in 2011, our interest coverage ratio was a little bit higher. It was 5.4 times, and this year it's 4.0 times. So this tells us a little bit more about the riskiness of our company. We see that their debt became a little bit more substantial relative to the composition of the assets. So their debt went up a little bit, but yet from a stockholder's equity standpoint, the equity got a little bit worse based on how we calculated the average stockholder's equity, and also in some respects with regard to the handling of our interest expense and how much interest we paid for the year. So a couple of the ratios got a little bit weaker in the ability to manage our debt structure. So our financial risk got a little bit greater. Thank you.